Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Bryce. I just won a $5 triple shootout replay tournament yesterday, and it's being aired on Stars right now. And so I'm gonna do my first video blog in a little while, just as like a little strategy segment on this $5 sit and go for fun. This is the third replay shootout that I've made, but the first time that I've won it, I got last place and seventh place in the two other ones in a $16. I think it was a $16 both times actually, and this is the first $5. So that should be a little bit of fun. I did some cash videos a long time ago, I think at $50 no limit. This is the first tournament video that I'm going to be doing now that I've been playing tournaments for a little while. I also just got my Porsche about half an hour ago, and it's a stick shift. I don't know how to drive stick shift. It was supposed to be dropped off at my house, but it was dropped off about a quarter mile from where I live. And so I've only driven a stick shift like three times in my life. I tried driving the car in the most roundabout way possible to avoid this busy street, but I inevitably had to be on this street for like 100 or 200 feet. And I was freaking out before I hit the road because I had stalled the car like three or four times. And then I hit the busy street and I stalled in the middle of traffic. It was about the most embarrassing thing ever. And then because I was in such a panic, I like blew the like I don't even know what I blew, but all the smoke came out of the back of the car and started smelling really, really, really bad. And now I somehow managed to get the car on the driveway and it's just chilling there. And now I'm gonna wait for my roommates to take a look at it and drive it around and show me how to actually use the car so I don't fuck up the transmission more than I have to. So I am excited about this car, but not excited to learn how to use a automatic or a manual transmission whatsoever. My tournament day, by the way, yesterday was pretty good because it was my first winning day in a little while. I didn't win that much money, but it's always better to win 1,000 than lose 1,000. All right, so the tournament started. My I have everyone colored here just for reference for everyone. The way my coloring system works is it starts off with blue being the absolute worst, ice cold, and then it moves up from green, yellow, orange to red. Very few blues and reds exist. People are mostly going to be green, yellow, and orange on a tiered scale of good to bad. So green are going to be all the fish, yellow the weaker players, and orange are generally more solid players. It's a very, very rough estimation of where people are at. It's by no means definitive, but it's like based off of initial impressions. And because this is a $5 game, I'm just gonna inherently, like, I didn't have most of these people colored. I may have had like one or two people colored when the table started. I didn't necessarily know how strong and weak this table is going to be, but at a $5 table, I just start to assume that everyone's going to be horrific. Like it's just like a table full of greens, maybe like one or two yellows on it. And ideally, I'd like to play really loose on a table like this, but it's a turbo and you only have 1.5k chips. So it's hard to play loose and really outplay people that much. When you're in the early stages, I mean, you can do a little bit of maneuvering here and there, but it's nothing really that serious. I mean, I'm clearly going to have an edge at any single stage, but it's not like if this was a 3,000 chip turbo, like in a $3 rebuy turbo 180, where you can really maneuver. With Ace Jack right here, I start thinking for a little while because in any decently sized buy-in game, I would just probably fold Ace Jack suited under the gun, especially in a sit and go. But I thought that because it's a $5 game, I just might as well go ahead and raise Ace Jack suited because I could get called by whatever and people could make horrible mistakes post flop. And worst case scenario, someone calls me and I miss the flop and I give up, or someone three bets me and I give up, and it's just really not that bad compared to how much I think I could gain. Besides Ace Jack, though, I'm probably playing like at least a dozen tournaments right now, probably more. And so I'm not really focusing too heavily on this tournament right now. I'm just focusing on bigger buy-ins. I know at specific stages I was going deep in the daily 40 grand and other tournaments, and any single decision was probably worth more than winning this entire tournament right here. So I really wasn't focusing too hard. And the early stages, my goal was just to play really tight, and I know that I did. I think I got pretty lucky situationally to end up where I was because I had about starting stack and just about the whole table disappeared, and so that just must have meant that a lot of people were busting, and I just wasn't one of the people busting because I was able to like fold my way to one of the higher pay scales. It really had no influence because my goal was just to play to win, but I was just arbitrarily happening to move up the pay scale without doing anything. 10 Jack, I don't mind calling in a cash game at all or 3-betting if the guy is loose enough. I don't really like folding versus cutoff raises, but in a sit and go, especially versus a player that I kind of, whose game I at least respect to some degree, I just don't really see the point in really defending with 10 Jack. I mean, it's just not going to help that much. Later on in the game, as things get shorthanded and blinds increase, then obviously my aggression levels are going to increase significantly. Nine's play here is probably, I probably wouldn't raise that much. Jacks, that play is reasonable. 3-betting might be a little bit loose. 10 king is awfully, or actually just terrific. I mean, there's just no reason why he should be in that hand. But he is a fish. Wow, that is a serious action card right there. I never really got, I never looked at this replay beforehand, except I saw some of the final heads-up hands versus me and the fish that ended up playing. But I have never actually seen anything right here, so I'm just coming in totally clean. I'm actually surprised how passively T-Pocket T is playing this hand. If he folds here, that would be a really serious hero fold. Okay, I didn't think he could possibly get away from that. It's good that JMac pot bet the river in that specific situation. He could have probably even overbet shipped. Ideally, what JMac should have done is not min raised on the turn. He should have raised slightly more so that he could have shoved all in by the river, but he's also an idiot. Swade Larson, I mean, these guys are just all bad players. He should not be calling King Jack out of the small blind. I don't really like continuation bets by King of Crisco. I mean, really, my philosophy for these games are that bad players are going to be, well, I mean, there's just certain things you can assume about bad players. Wow, this guy's a royal flush. That's amazing. That's really funny, actually. Call, damn it. So, like, the assumptions you can make about bad players, like, bad players in general are going to see too many hands, they're going to call too much, they're going to limp too much, and another thing is that they just don't fold. That's a serious assumption that you can make. And at higher levels, you have to seriously look at people's HUD stats and see if they're the foldy type or the not foldy type. Well, King 10, it's this guy's lucky hand over here. And in general, in lower buy-in games, you just have to go on the assumption that everyone's bad and people can't fold. And so when you raise jacks from the cutoff and you get called by two